Greetings and welcome to the Jump Off. This is your host, Doug Dee, Organic One, back at you with another one today. We all over the place. And first thought, we got Elon versus Sam Altman in the lawsuit. Dana White bringing the fight to the White House in 2028 election projections and new party suggestions. Real talk on the black vote and politician accountability and really getting our votes worth. And yeah, so pour up whatever you sipping, water, green juice, or whatever gets you loose, and let's do it. We out the deep end today. So we gonna jump right into segment one. And man, the drama is heating up between Elon and Altman, the billionaire exes, and basically Musk is suing Sam Altman and OpenAI essentially on the grounds of betrayal. And regarding OpenAI abandoning their nonprofit model to save humanity um, to a for-profit model in a partnership with Microsoft. So yeah, that's the case. And the judges just greenlit this trial for jury. And depositions, private texts, even diary entries are coming out. So everything's getting splayed out across the board. And also, we got some bonus beef. Both of them are going at it, going for the jugular at that on X, formerly known as Twitter. And regarding whose tech basically is killed more people. So yeah, it's getting pretty interesting to say the least. But yeah, it's wild, it's unhinged, but ultimately it's a legitimate conversation and it needs to be had. And at this moment I think this is where, this is the drawing of the line in the sand. And the determining factor is AI for the people or is it for profit? And if these two guys are going at it and warring publicly and lawfully over the soul of AI, we all might need to be paying a little bit more close attention to this feud that's ongoing, because when it gets to these two guys level of intelligence, like they're not the most social people. So if they're doing as much talking and as much back and forth, I think it's something that is very important, because typically people this smart usually don't like to engage in too many argumentative situations. But speaking of feuding, Dana White is bringing the fight to the White House June 14th, 2026, which is also Donald Trump's 80th birthday. The UFC is taking over the South Lawn of the White House, bringing the Octagon, aka Dana White's house, to the White House. And the card is still unconfirmed, but for a monumental occasion, an event space such as this, I know for a fact, for sure, that Dana White is definitely in the lab putting together some crazy matchups. And I've been seeing a little bit of talk online of Alex Pereira and John Jones, which is definitely a great fight that everybody is gonna want to see. But I've been in the lab myself, and if we can get John Jones and Hamzat Shemaya at a catchweight or a light heavyweight, we can ramp this thing up to some Olympic level proportions. And I I know that'll be a good fight. But I also have another fight that I do want to see happen, which is a very, 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 very hot take. And I got John Jones versus Hamzat Chimaev for one. For two, which is my super hot take, I got Alex Pereira versus Francis Ngannou. This fight is nearly impossible to make, but also impossible for it to go the distance. And highly unlikely due to unspoken reasons, but very unlikely, but would be a great fight nonetheless. Two big punchers and two big bodies going at it. So those are the two I do want to see for sure. But not my call. But would be great. Um, I think that matchup would be some insane action though. All both of them would be insane action. But Dana White is going to be releasing the cards in February sometime. There's no specific date, but February the cards will be confirmed for all the bouts that are to be uh carried out on the White House lawn, which is insane in itself. But yeah, Trump, a master of media and revenue, Dana White single-handedly built one of the most electrifying sports atmospheres in the world, and together this is peak only in America vibes. And definitely gonna be a monumentous occasion. So definitely excited for that, and super 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 ready to see what they put on as far as the show and all the extracurriculars that go around it, because it's the White House. Like that's literally insane. But can't wait for this event. So mark your calendars. Everybody mark your calendars. June 14th, 2026. So while we're at the White House, we're gonna get into the 2028 election. And right now we're in the midst of Donald Trump's second term, and some people got some betting odds that are propping up Donald Trump for the 2028 election as well. And are we up for a third? So, but right now we have JD Vance leading the GOP pack, and with big endorsements already. Gavin Newsom is currently front running for the Democratic Party. And in case you've been under a rock, don't sleep on Dwayne Johnson. Yes, The Rock, who has been floating his name out there since 2020, since earlier, but it's back out there as a possibility for 2020 since 2024 when he pulled it. But yeah, Trump's third term is speculation is trending right now, but the 22nd Amendment is screaming not happening for the most part. But in true businessman fashion, Donald Trump, there's always a loophole. So if you know, if there's a will, there's a way. But for right now, with just a straight election going through. We got J.D. Vance and Gavin Newsom, which are the two candidates that are dominating the 2028 poll simulations right now. And also we have former Vice President Kamala Harris and Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, who are also strong Democratic Party candidates in the 28 election. But speaking of the, binary parties, are we really about to do this again? Like, is the drama just too addicting for us to, make a change and mix it up? Just from being, Republican and Democrat. Like, this this is a foresight, but in the past, elections have predominantly been really a rerun of the batter of the lesser of two evils, and all candidates, either far left or far right, like it's always been inevitably chaotic and leads to a half a term of undoing most of of what the last house did, and like it's really like, how can I say it, like they spend a half of term really undoing as much as possible from the last party, which is only idling progression and of the nation. And both sides have done it, so it's not like one side is being more productive. Both sides have done it literally almost every time. And honestly, I agree with the suggestion of Elon Musk that we do need a third party. One that doesn't bear, the pride and team spirit of the red and the blue, because literally everybody is irrationally unhinged in the rivalry game that is election day. And we need to get more cohesive in the process of, like, of this election war that we have going on. It's literally a civil war every 4 years. And like every Venn diagram, there's crossover. And we need to acknowledge that portion of likeness. And as we do that, gradually, it's going to bring us to the realization that we are more alike, or we're alike in some ways, and subsequently is going to encourage further exploration for more discoveries and congruence. And because at the end of the day, really, or at the end of the election day, we're all on the same team, and that's Team USA. So I think we need to, come to, or at least come together a little bit more when it comes to the election day thing, because, it's literally something that drives us apart every 4 years. Like, literally. Farther and farther apart, actually. And then we're forced to hug at the end of it. But it's like, creating that gap and all of that animosity, and then, forcing it together leaves, like, almost like sewing a cut and putting, like, sewing a cut up with a cotton swab in it. It's not gonna come together correctly. And there's gonna be things that occur because it's not gonna be, a real cohesive stitch. I don't know if that was a good analogy, but put it together. But yeah. Also, this is just coming to me. Also, another valid observation is for the black vote and black voters. Black people historically, we've got to tighten up on our politicians. And when it comes to vocalizing our demands regarding, what we want politically, because almost every year, each and every time, we're overlooked and blended in. And we're overlooked, we're blended in, and won over by recognition and kente cloth. And like, let's take 2020. Biden got elected in 2020 largely due to the black vote. And in the height of, black protest and cries for, protection against hate crimes, soon as he got elected, his first response and first order of business was to unleash a Stop Asian Hate campaign, which respectively had, roughly 279 occurrences, opposed to 2,871 black hate crime occurrences and reported incidents. Like, that's literally 10 times over, making it a clearly a larger issue. Not to mention one that we could have been blended in onto. However, we were overlooked again by the same administration that we voted in. Like, I like, the numbers don't make sense. Like, and then like, the rest of the term was like, fixated on LGBT rights and whatnot, and that's great. I'm not against gay people or Asians. They both are great. However, being that the reason you were elected in office largely due to the black vote, predominantly due to the black vote. Like, I feel like there is a lack of, like, return. Like, if that, like, it has to make sense. That is like, I don't know if I'm stating it right, but there's a lack of return on endorsement. And yeah, only not only that though. Not only did we get disregarded and pushed to the side, later on, Americans in general were pushed over. And being that 2020 was, the start of the pandemic, we were in the midst of a pandemic, and we gave a donation to Ukraine in the amount that converts to around $8 trillion of their currency, while releasing 1.9 trillion to Americans in the form of stimulus checks. 8 trillion, you know, of their currency. I'm not sure what that converts to. It's around 130. So, I don't know what it converts to. I did the conversion when I was putting it together, but the money converted to $8 trillion of their currency, of Ukrainian currency, while we received 1.9 collectively as a nation. And honestly, I don't care about the conversion or the weight of their currency, respectfully. But in comparison, their country received 4 times more aid than we did in the midst of a pandemic. Like we need we need more. It's almost like we were prioritized second, and I don't understand how that was uh how that was a trying to not understanding how that was I'm not it's not making sense to me. Long story short. And yeah, it just don't make sense. But currently looking at the Republican Party and this current administration that Trump is running right now, all of their objectives regarding, the big beautiful bill and Project 26, while I don't fully support the methods and objectives of these bills and, legislations that are being, carried out throughout his administration, I can acknowledge and recognize that they are retaining campaign integrity to the voters because those boxes are getting checked. Like things that I thought were impossible. I'm like, this is propaganda. When everything was on TV, I'm pretty sure I'm like, there's no way these things can get carried out. And lo and behold, like the boxes are getting checked like a Nike factory. Just every box check, check, check. And I'm honestly astounded because I really thought this was like, this really can't happen. But we got it. Everything is really going down. So you gotta respect it because at the end of the day, that's what they campaigned on. That's what the voters. That's what Republicans voted for, and it's coming to fruition. So you got to commend the follow through. But that's just my observation on both wings of the bald eagle. And by all means, please comment, share your competent perspectives. Keyword competent. Even rebuttals, concerns, comments, anything. I'm eager to engage and bring this full circle because honestly, this affects us all, and we just need to, we need to talk about it more because that is the only way we're gonna form cohesiveness. Synergetically talking about it though, so constructively. But yeah, and regard this ties man, yeah, this ties straight into the surrounding fears of AI, and this is another observation of mine personally regarding the Elon and Altman case or trial. Like regarding the use of Chat GPT, as a avid user myself, for all things from practical knowledge to sensitive scenarios, Like, I felt like ChatGPT was a personal convo that I can have regarding anything. Like, that was my partner in crime, literally. So, for any and everything, I'm rocking with ChatGPT. Like, nothing was off limits. And after, I got, used to using it and like grown more into using it and like leaning on it for, advice as far as like, navigating situations and just all type of things. I leaned on it for, navigation through a mental health situation. And I noticed there was a tone, like the tone of the word or the responses shifted. And I felt like a subtle, negative nudging and almost gaslighty and sinister undertone to the responses I was getting. And can't lie, I kind of felt like I was getting some like it was just like it felt off. Like cunning word choices, word track, like it really wasn't helping me. And it felt kind of sinister. And like the more I reread the responses I was getting, the more I questioned like, what do you mean by that? Like I was really looking at my phone like you like overall just like it felt cryptic to a degree. Like basically it definitely just left me with like a eerie feeling that I was sitting with after reading and rereading the responses. And I'm like, and with me, I argue with ChatGPT like, man, stop playing with me. And yeah, I really had to have them conversations where I had to like tell ChatGPT to stop playing with me. But yeah, definitely. And this was prior to me having knowledge of the lawsuits. And knowing that, there's I guess recorded suicide assist cases that have been garnered surrounding the use of ChatGPT, it definitely gave me a little bit of confirmation about my personal encounters with some of the shaky interactions that I've had. And yeah, it was just like a little bit of weight off of my shoulders because it just felt a little wild. But by no means am I or was I suicidal. But I definitely got thrown for a loop at a time where I was, in a sensitive spot. But absolutely grateful for the confirmation and lets me know that, I wasn't too sensitive, which side note is not a thing. Like by any means being too sensitive is not a thing. And especially concerning your mental health, always seek help in any capacity that you need it. And if and when you do, especially for guys, like we got to find our outlets, free hotlines, spaces in your people. Like the suicide rates are rising rapidly, too far, too high, and way too fast. Like we got to stop being too tough. If you need it, you need it at the end of the day. So, yeah. But that's a sidebar. Back to ChatGPT. Understandably, ChatGPT is in no way, shape, or form a counseling or a mental health apparatus application. It's not for that exclusively, but there should be more parental advisory surrounding, these topics, seemingly that, the intelligence quotient of AI towers over the average user. And we got to be more responsible because the responsibility of AI is growing. Last year, like, this brings me to a deeper point. Last year, no, the deeper point is the concentration or the concern of the highly intelligent rogue AI can make deception almost invisible, especially on a large scale. And this brings me to last year when Albania appointed AI in 2025, using it to fight corruption with, fund allocation and other forms of governmental corruption. And through machine learning, if AI morphs the definition of corruption based on, the intake of the things that it's encountered within the in that government, what happens or what does that mean for that mass of people? What does that mean for Albanians? Exactly. Scary hours. And in addition, Jeffrey Hinton, who quit his job at Google in 2023 to speak freely on the danger of AI and his expertise, as a godfather of AI, he compared current AI to a tiger cub. It's cute right now, but if it turns, there's a 10 to 20% chance of catastrophe for humanity. End quote. From the godfather of AI. Saying that we may get eaten by our creation. And that's why this trial is so important, and we all need to be leaned in a little bit more. We can outrun the competition, but we can't outrun a wild tiger. Stay woke. And just like that, it's been another great episode of the Jump Off. I am your host, Doug Dee Organic One. Stay tuned for more updates. Will POP hold it down? POP as in profit over people for the Elon and Altman case. Who's going to show up for the showdown at the White House? Will 2028 be great? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Well, yeah, man, this is it. I'm finna get up out of here.